Hello, everybody. I hope you're all really well. I want to discuss a consideration around metabolic slowdown, which is the slowing of the metabolism and all the associated functions there that are connected to metabolic health. So, most people, I think, know that, and if you don't know, this is going to be shocking to you. As you lose weight, your metabolism slows down. And this can be for many reasons. This can be due to losing muscle. This is changes in leptin and body fat set point. Also, changes in thyroid function. So, the metabolism does slow down when you lose weight. Now, one consideration that I don't believe most people have heard of is the consideration around pesticides and weight loss and slowing metabolism. So, first, there is compounds or molecules that are known as lipophilic. That means they are attracted to fat, they get bound in fat, they get carried in fat, they get stored in fat. Now, some of these molecules are good, like vitamin A, D, E, are fat soluble nutrients, and some are bad, like toxins, including pesticides and herbicides and insecticides, and even hormones. So, to understand this, you have to understand that fat cells, they're not just storage sites for fat. They are endocrine organs in themselves, meaning that they take in hormones and they make and excrete their own hormones. They also then contain inflammatory molecules. They will excrete cytokines. They also will contain heavy metals and other toxins like these pesticides and herbicides, etc. So, when you understand that, you can make sense of the notion that, and this part is not new, that when you break down body fat, you dump a lot of toxins into the bloodstream. And some people will experience a Herxheimer reaction from this. So, the Herxheimer reaction is basically a bunch of symptoms when people go on some sort of like health kick or diet protocol or fat loss campaign where they'll experience these symptoms. They might get a breakout on their face, some acne, a rash maybe on their back. They might get some nausea, some diarrhea. Their first period on this journey might be heavier, more blood clots. That's the Herxheimer reaction, and that's a detoxification reaction. So when you dump all these chemicals and hormones and toxins into the bloodstream because you've broken the fat, then your body's going to try push them out somehow. So that's known, I think, by a lot of people. This is also relevant when you get any sort of tissue or fat cell manipulation, like a massage, even acupuncture, any sort of chiropractic adjustment, anything that manipulates fat and tissues is going to dump toxins into your bloodstream, and that's going to cause systemic inflammation. So the body becomes inflamed. You might notice people are sore, they've aches and pains after a massage the previous day. Part of this inflammatory response, which is an immune response, is fluid retention, because part of the immune response, whenever there's like a poison present, is to bind the area in fluid or wrap the area in fluid so you get fluid retention. So, when we break down a lot of fat, the research now, which is pretty solid, like really solid, shows that when we break down fat cells, we can increase pesticide levels in our bloodstream by up to 400%. And that further increases the more weight we lose. That is shocking. That is a lot. This also reminds us of why we need to prioritize detoxification daily. Because not only are you getting these pesticides in your system? This is launching a huge inflammatory response that is also backed up by other research that shows us when this happens, these pesticides can reduce metabolism by half. By half. By half. If your basal metabolic rate, and it's specifically basal metabolic rate, and if we were to get more granular, the research shows that it is this basal metabolic rate when we're resting and when we're asleep, we're burning half of the calories. So for people, which is a lot of people who are sedentary and resting a lot and not moving a lot, if we think that their metabolism maybe is 1400 calories a day, which is average for a lot of women, maybe it's not. Maybe it's 700 calories a day. And maybe this is the reason why we have such an obesity epidemic right now. This is big. This is a big thing to consider. So then part of this goes back to, well, how or why is it slowing the metabolism by so much? It looks like it's this systemic inflammation and the pesticides that directly influence thyroid function, crashing thyroid function and hormone levels, suppressing them so much that it's crushing metabolism. So, back to the age old tale of, if you have slow thyroid function or hypothyroidism, you are going to have a slower metabolism and issues with losing weight. And not only that, you're going to have issues with liver function, digestion, cognitive performance, adrenal resiliency will go down. The adrenals and the thyroid, if you've been following me, you'll know they're like sisters. If something happens to one, it happens to the other. If the thyroid goes down, the adrenals are going down, and vice versa. But also, your thyroid, because it directly influences metabolism, that directly influences everything else: circulation, liver function, detoxification through all the detoxification organs, how you assimilate nutrients, how you utilize nutrients. So there's this, again, is big. This should be considered and should also coincide with the conversation around why we should choose organic foods when we can. I know organic foods are not completely pure. I'm well aware of that, but they do give us this opportunity to reduce these pesticides and herbicides, etc., and stack conditions in our favor. And even if you don't need to lose weight, and again, I'll share the studies because the research is mind blowing. Even if you don't need to lose weight, there is research showing that the accumulation of pesticides in the body can be a big contributing factor to the onset of diabetes, specifically type 2 diabetes. When we see the numbers around not just obesity, but diabetes increasing, especially in our children, this is an area that deserves some consideration. So, yes, there is a lot of factors that cause the metabolism to slow down when we lose weight. And that's why, friends, you have to follow a good weight loss or fat loss protocol. It has to be smart, it has to address the hormones, it has to support detoxification, and it has to consider some sort of refeed or carb reload so that you can boost these hormones so that we're not seeing these detrimental long-term effects. You have to support thyroid. It has to be well planned out. And yes, unfortunately, that can make it extra complicated, but there are people who can help. I would be silly to not mention myself here. Of course, this is something I do. But regardless, just considering this concept alone, and that you must prioritize detoxification, you must support your thyroid when you're on a fat loss campaign or any sort of diet. This is mind-blowing. We're increasing pesticides by 400% or more in our bloodstream. Regardless of the metabolism and all, what other damaging effects is that having? brain cell, central nervous system issues, immune issues, potentially cancerous issues. Like we could go down many rabbit holes. And then suppressing the metabolism by half. Like I said, most people, and I have the data to support this, most people, most women, their metabolism is on average 1400 calories a day. Like that's what they need to survive and get by. If we're wrong and the metabolism is being suppressed by half because of pesticides, we potentially are seeing people needing 700 calories or less to lose weight and reap the advantages that come with that in regards to metabolic health. But then where do we go? If they continue to lose weight and the metabolism slows on down more, then where do we go? We can't keep dropping the calories. They can't survive off 200 calories. There's a lot of considerations here. There's a lot of considerations. Um, and it does get complicated. But this, I'm hoping, shines some light on why you may be struggling to lose weight. And at the very least, maybe you would consider supporting detoxification more and choosing more organic foods if you can. I know it's not financially possible for everybody, but if you can, this may be a consideration. So I'll post research in the description. I know I know most people don't like to read the studies, but even just looking at the abstract, even just looking at the results, the conclusion can give you a fair idea of what's happening and what I'm saying to be true. If you've got any questions, let me know in the comments. You can reach out to me on my website, shemainesmodelhealth.com, Facebook, Instagram, Shemaines Model Health. But I hope you found this helpful because obesity really is an epidemic now, and it's something we need to take really seriously, especially when we look at the health implications. So, hopefully, this is helpful to you. I hope you guys have a great evening, a great day, great week, and I'll chat to you soon. Bye bye.